Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and this is Soft Flow Yoga. Thanks for joining me. Did you know you can do squats at the gym and in yoga? Let's get to it. To begin our practice, let's start in seated and get into breath. Feel free to sit on something soft like a blanket or even a pillow. Just want to make sure you feel like your spine is nice and long, you're sitting up tall. Take a few deep breaths, a nice full breath in, filling up your lungs, and exhale to empty. Let's do that again. Full breath in, exhale out. Good. Feel free to close your eyes if you like. It's a wonderful way to move inside of self. Begin to pay attention to what's going on inside of you so you can let go of the things that are going on outside of you. Just some deep breaths, feeling centered and connected. In our practice today, we'll be doing what I call the Yogi Squat. It's a wonderful practice for your hips, even your spine, strengthening your legs. It's just a nickname for another pose. I'll get to that in a moment. But first, just being here. Slow, steady breaths. Mindful connection. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Good. Let's make a careful transition to our hands and knees. Feel free to use a blanket or something soft underneath you to protect your knees and your hands. Let's continue to warm up the body using breath flowing through cat and cow poses. When we inhale, we tip the pelvis back, arch the back to create a back bend while the belly drops, heart opens, chin lifts. This is cow pose. On the exhale, we tuck the pelvis under. Feel the belly button pull up towards spine, the curvature in the spine, and chin to chest. And this is cat pose. And just continue to flow through these 2 postures. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Great way to bring mobility to your spine and also your hips. And since we'll be focusing on hips, let's really generate a good flow of energy throughout the hips and pelvis. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. When you're complete, just pause in a neutral tabletop posture. Just take a breath. If you're using a blanket for some padding, let's just set that to the side for now. Come back to hands and knees and make our way into downward facing dog. If your hands are directly underneath your shoulders, just step your hands forward a little bit. Even spread out your fingers so you feel a stretch between each finger. And a press into the palms just to flatten and open the palms. And as you push firmly, just feel the energy, strength, and length in your arms. Maintain that connection. Tuck your toes. You can even sit back. I like to do this too. Just sit back just to get a stretch through the toes. Then come back to center, and then a cat-cow. So inhale, cow, our back bend. Exhale, cat, hold cat pose. Again, make sure toes are tucked, hands press firmly into the floor so you can lift your knees off the floor. Send your hips up into the air. Make sure you keep your knees bent so the hips continue to rise as your head and chest sink and dip between the arms. Just here in downward facing dog for a moment. We're going to move right into a lunge sequence. So let's pick up the right foot and extend the right leg back. Nice and strong, very straight as possible. Inhale. Exhale, step right foot to the top of the mat or just let it land behind your right hand here. Turn your left heel to the floor so your whole foot now is on the floor. Be sure you shift your weight back into that foot so you feel balanced between both feet. There's some lightness now in your hands. To carefully rise, I like to rise to fingertips, starting the extension of spine. You can climb up the leg, bring both hands up to the thigh, lifting up to about 45 degrees here, finding some more extension, and then finish with an inhale, lifting up so I'm perpendicular to the floor, reaching up into the sky, and exhale just to finish the lunge. Just holding here for a few moments with arms extended, plus relax the arms. Just bring the hands maybe down to your hips so you can just get an idea of what your legs are doing here. Since we're going to be doing some squats, we're almost in the first squat, which is going to be a standing one. But we're getting a nice lunge here, so some good strengthening in the thigh. The whole leg is really engaged right up to the hip. Because this back leg, the left leg here, is stepped back, turned out slightly, you might get a gentle pull or stretch here in maybe upper thigh, pelvis, in the psoas region here, or just in the abs. Let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, open now to a warrior two, just turning sideways, arms to parallel. And just to keep this nice line of energy, you might need to turn the leg a little bit. It also helps to open up the pelvis. It feels like, if it was for me, that leg was turned in, so it feels like my pelvis is turning in. We want to have kind of this outward sensation like that. And there's our warrior two. And just to give a little bit more sensation, let's shift the body forward like this, angled upper body, I call it, and then rotate the arms, even placing your hand or even your forearm on your thigh. It just puts a little bit more of an effort and energy as far as the stretch and strengthening, particularly in this front leg. 2 more breaths. And just rising up a little bit so I can turn, free the hands, and then bring the hands back down to the floor. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Hold for a moment. You might even bring this left knee to the floor. Flatten the back foot just to sink into this gently. I'm going to rise up to fingertips just a little bit and even creep this right foot forward. 2 things are happening. Left hip flexor right through this area, getting a nice stretch, but also a deep stretch in the inner right leg. Just a couple more breaths here. I'm going to tuck the toes behind me so I can lift the knee. Push firmly into the floor with the hands so I can slide this right foot back to a plank pose. Bend the knees, hips to sky, downward facing dog. And that's getting us set up for the other side. We're just warming up the body, ready for our squats. Let's inhale, extend left leg up. Strong straight line as you reach through your heel or your toes. The exhale, let's step foot forward, landing here at the top. Right heel to the earth. Again, there's no weight back here, so you need to shift the weight back into that foot. Well balanced. Light hands rise to fingertips. Start the extension of spine. Crawl up the leg. Hand to thigh, extending here, and then finish. Rising up with an inhale, exhale, finishing the lunge. Just holding for a few seconds. We'll relax the arms for a moment so we can just pay attention to the lower region of the body. Again, nice thigh strengthening with this lunge. You can even check in with your alignment, knee and toes pointing forward here. That back leg is turned out and back. Upper body's kind of turning forward, so it's a slight twist so you can get that hip flexor stretch. Let's inhale to re-extend, arms up. Exhale, open here to a warrior two. Again, I feel that inner pull of the pelvis because of my right leg, and so I'm turning the whole leg so my toes kind of turn out. That way the pelvis feels like it's kind of opening up. Adjusting my balance, settling in, and re-extending the arms. Ready for our side angle variation, shifting forward. Rotate the arms. I'm just going to bring the hand to the thigh and reaching upward with this right arm. So I'm getting a side stretch, Slight bend, sending energy more towards this front leg a little bit. And I can just feel the effort of this leg just working. Let's take a breath in. Exhale a bit of a lift and turn. Free your hands. Carefully bring the hands back down to the floor. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. We're going to set the knee onto the floor. Flatten the foot. Again, I'm just going to kind of wiggle this left foot forward a little bit. Just a gentle sink into this lunge, not too deep. So I get into this right hip flexor and left inner thigh. So again, just warming up the legs a little bit so we can move into our squat sequence. The first one is going to be a full standing one. So coming out of this posture, let's tuck the toes, lift the knee, push firmly into the floor with the hands so I can slide this left foot back, plank pose. Let's return to down dog, bend the knees, hips to sky. There we are. All right, we're going to go back through those sequences, kind of flow through them and get ready for our first squat. It's an inhale to extend right leg up. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat. Landing behind the hand is perfect. Left heel to the floor, shifting weight back. Same thing, I'm just picking up the pace, but still breaking this down. Rise up to fingertips, extend, hands to thigh, lift, continue that extension. Inhales, free the arms, reach up. And our exhale opening to Warrior Two. Make some adjustments with the feet. I like to take this foot forward a little bit. I'm spinning that left leg out. Nice wide stance. There's our Warrior Two. Just holding here for a moment. Let's just go ahead and bring hands to hips. Now here's our first squat. It has a couple of names. One name is horse stance, like a horse stance, okay? But another name is goddess pose, and I really like that expression. Alrighty, so we got the right knee bent, toes turned out. It might need to turn in a little bit, and we're gonna have the left leg match. So I'm gonna spin the left knee and toes out. They don't have to be completely sideways. They're kind of pointing out at an angle, just depending how well your legs kind of turn out. Now, in dance, this would be a grand plie, okay? Just taking the legs wide and a bit of a squat, okay? In yoga, it is a squat. We're working the thighs, working the hips, and I'm tucking pelvis under, okay? So my tailbone is pointing downward. You can just keep the hands resting on your thighs or the hip crease right here. Now, the deeper you go, more sensation. For the goddess pose, we often take the arms out. You can even flip the palms up and even take the arms up. And just deepening, this sensation. Now, you don't have to go too deep at all to reap the benefits of this pose. All right, we're going to come back up. Coming out of that deep sensation, I'm going to spin this left leg all the way around here so I can face forward. Free the hands. Inhale, reach up for Warrior One. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the floor. Just go ahead and slide that right foot back, hips high right away, downward facing dog. I'm going to do the other side. So inhale, extending left leg up. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel to the earth. Same thing, shifting weight back, finding that balance. Rising to fingertips, crawling up the leg, keeping the spine as straight as possible. Inhale, let's reach up. Warrior One. Exhale, opening, Warrior Two. Again, I'm just adjusting the feet here for my Warrior Two pose. Just want to arrive in the posture just to settle in, finding that balance. And feel free to relax the arms. You can bring hands to hips, and we'll set up for our goddess pose. At the moment, my left knee and toe are pointing directly out to the side, but you might need to turn them in just a little bit, and we're going to get the right leg to match. Bending the knee, turning the leg out, toes out. You can always make some adjustments. Alrighty? Now, up high for me, I'm not feeling too much, but this could be enough for the pose, especially if you hold this for a long period of time. But we're taking a short stint with this posture, so I'm going to deepen this a little bit by going down into my grand plie, I'm really feeling this in the thighs, even hamstrings, tucking pelvis under, getting some core engagement. Arms extend, flip the palms up, and even reach up, sinking a little deeper, and there's our goddess pose. Couple more breaths, really feeling this in the legs. Great way to strengthen, stretch, release, and open. All right, going to come back up. Good. Back to my warrior two. I'm going to spin this right foot all the way around. Okay. Inhale, reaching up for warrior one. Exhale, fold, bringing hands down to the floor. Sliding left foot back, plank pose. And just take a little rest here. Bring the knees to the floor, sit back briefly into hero. All right, so that's our first squat position, that goddess pose, working both legs. And now we're going to get ready to move into what I call, again, Yogi Squat. And you'll see why we call it that. But it actually has another name. It's actually Garland Pose or Malasana. And Garland Pose is actually a bind. And we're not doing the binding part of it. We're just doing the leg part of it. And it just resembles a really deep squat. So I'm going to give you some variations of the pose. And you might need a couple of blocks or some stacked books for this, okay? Just in case you can't get deep into the posture. And you'll see what I mean in a moment. So I'm going to have these close by. I'm going to have them both here, but I may only use one just for the demonstration. So you can watch me or follow me. I'm going to come back to hands and knees, tuck toes, even sit back to get that stretch in the toes. Lift the knees and hips, downward facing dog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both feet right up to the top of the mat. I'm just going to kind of walk into it, taking both feet up to the top of the mat. But instead of just kind of standing behind my hands, I'm going to take my feet pretty wide on the mat and feet turned out. Here I go. Just taking some steps forward, kind of rising to fingertips so I can get my feet forward. Feet turned out quite wide. I'm taking the feet wide. And this leaves me ready to bend the knees and take a seat. Okay? I'm going to go into the full posture first and then back up into some of the modified positions. Just turn sideways here for a moment because I can go pretty deep all the way down into this deep squat and even have some balance. If you're able to make it here, you're going to find some balance. The pelvis is slightly tucked under. We have the support of the legs and hips. If you can free your hands, you might even bring hands to heart center. The knees might be kind of dipping in a little bit, so what you might do is just kind of push with your elbows the legs outward for a little bit more stability of the posture and also more sensation in the pose. And here's my hands at heart. So you can see why we call this Yogi Squat. But let's say you can't go down this deep. No worries. Alrighty, so we're going to back it up. So let's say you made it here, got the feet wide, toes turned out, and you're starting to lower the hips. Maybe this is about as low as you can go, right here. And this is fine because it really gets into all of that hip area. You can even bring in those blocks right here, just for a little extra stability. I'm already feeling this in my thighs. So you don't have to go all the way down into that squat. But let's say you can go down a little deeper. I like to use one or both of the blocks or stacked books, whatever you have, like a little chair. I'm just going to sit. It also helps with balance, okay? And I can just sit. So this feels a little bit more relaxed since I don't have to hold myself up. So I can be here, either hands on the floor for a little extra stability, or if you're able, like I did with that deeper yogi squat, rising up, maybe getting elbows, pushing the knees outward, which also helps to extend the spine, which is good. Extend the spine, and then my hands to heart. So maybe this is your pose right here. Let's just take 3 more breaths. Good. Coming out of the posture, You can just bring your hands down in front, lean into the hands so you can come off of your prop there, set it to the side. Even just start walking the feet back so you can easily bring your knees back down to the floor. Feel free to finish with cat-cow. A few breaths, a few movements. Wonderful. And just sitting back into hero pose, completing our practice. Go ahead and take a seat. So some squatting postures, really to strengthen the whole leg and hip region of the body. Try those out. So let's return to seated, nice lengthened spine. Take a deep breath. And to finish, we'll take this one last movement together. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, bring palms together and down to your heart. Take one more deep breath in and out on your own. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste. Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.